As far as Deming is concerned and Deming's TQM is concerned, we say that Deming's TQM defines poor quality, or Deming's TQM states that poor quality is not only because of people. It is not only because the people are not skilled. It is because of some other reason. So if we classify the reason, or if we try to categorize the reason as to what is the reason for poor quality, he says that 15%, 15% of the poor quality is because of workers. Only 15%, 15. And the remaining 85% poor quality is because of the system, that is a production system, and it is because of poor management and poor system. This is the reason for poor quality. So according to him, he says that to improve the quality, we have to improve the system. We have to improve upon the production system, and we have to improve upon the management system, correct the management system, correct the production system, and automatically the quality will be good, because 85% of the cause or the reason for poor quality is the poor system. So because of this, we find that the output is not as good as the input. Input may be good, workers may be good, but the main reason for the products being of poor quality is because of the system. It is because of the management. Now, whichever organization has implemented TQM principles in its sincerity and has produced very good output, that organization is normally given a prize that is called as the Deming's prize. Okay, so the Deming's prize of quality is given, and you have to know, at least from the point of view of the Indian context, as to which is the organization in India which has got the Deming's Award. So, trying to bring out the importance of Deming, I am trying to state the first prize that was given to an Indian company, or the first Indian to win a Deming's prize. So we are talking about Deming's TQM. And he has said that any organization or any person who has been successful in implementing the TQM principles would be given the Deming's prize for quality management. Now, what I want you to know is the first person or the first Indian to receive this Deming's award. Do you know who's the person? Who's the individual? You know the name of the person? Any idea? Have you read about it in papers or news or anywhere else? The first individual who happens to be the first Indian, he was Mr. Janak Mehta. And he was working in the organization called as TQM International, where they were trying to find out what will be the effect of TQM. They were trying to develop a new model of TQM, implementation of TQM. They were doing research on that. Now, in that organization only, he implemented the TQM system and he got out quality results. So he was the first Indian to get the TQM award, which was called as the Deming's Prize for TQM, for quality management. Now I want to know the company, the first company, the first Indian company to receive the TQM award, that is Deming's TQM award, was a company by the name of Sundaram Clayton. Sundaram Clayton. Now, in this company, there was a brakes division that was manufacturing brakes, for cars, automobiles. So, brakes division of Sundaram Clayton won the TQM International Award that was named after Deming. So, the Deming's prize was won by this company, the first Indian company to win the prize for implementation of TQM principles. In the recent years, that is as recent as 2019, a company has won the Deming's Award, the Deming's Prize, for its efficiency, for its quality, and that was JSW Salem. You must have heard about JSW, a steel manufacturing company. JSW Salem division, that is, the company has got branches all over India. The one which is in Salem, that is in Tamil Nadu, that has won the Deming's Grand Prize in 2019, as recent as 2019, for implementation of TQM principles successfully and coming out with best quality products and best service. Prior to that, prior to 2019, it was a company which was again a very well-known company, steel company, Tata Steel Limited, which won this award in 2012. This is all the details about the Deming's Grand Prize. It is called as Deming's Grand Prize. So whichever company or whichever organization or whichever individual successfully implements the TQM principles in their organization is given the award for best performance or best, you can say, output or results. And that is called as the Deming's Grand Prize. Okay. So this is the background. Now let us see what are the steps or what are the cycles or the procedures involved in this Deming's TQM model. This model has got what is called as PDCA, these 4 steps. Now what is PDCA and what is the meaning of this? How do we understand this? PDCA means, for example, now it is plan, do, check and act. That is why it is called PDCA. Plan, do, check, act, and then that cycle continues. It is plan, do, check, act, plan, do, check, act. So it is going on continuing. It is a cycle. It is not that it will stop with the last one. This will again take us over here. Again it starts. Again from here to here it goes. So it is a cycle. So we call it as Deming cycle. Plan. First step. What does plan mean? Plan means that we are planning for the process of production. The current production process, we are thinking as to how to go about it. Or if you are thinking about a new process, then how to start the production process, what will be the machines required, how to arrange the machines. If you are talking about an existing production process, then how it can be improved. What is the quality of output desired? Okay, how to fix a problem, how to improve upon the problems, how to come out with solutions, how to plan for changes that are required in the plan. So objectives which are required to give the best output. So all that is done at the planning stage. So that is the first step. Then do. Do means what? Implementation. Do means implementation. Do means implementation. Whatever you have planned, you implement those plans in reality. So before you implement, you may conduct small test to see whether the plan works or not. So that is also coming under the implementation process. So test whether the things which have been planned when implemented will give us the necessary results, and then implement the plan. Third is check. Check what? Check means what? Check means evaluate. Evaluate. Evaluate what? the process that has been implemented for giving us the best output, check whether, evaluate whether the process implemented is successful or not. If the process implemented is not successful, then try to bring about changes which are required and see whether that particular change is working or not working. Okay, that is the check stage. And the act stage, that is the last one. The last one. Act means that once the organization has implemented a plan, we have evaluated the plan, and we know whether the result is as expected or not. Then we go back to the first step again. Go back to the first step again, see whether any changes are required, and then continue this process. So it is a cycle that is there. So that is why it is sometimes called as a Deming's cycle. Okay. Now this is what we need to learn, and then in this part, as I told you earlier also, we have the concept of praise. I've done this word before. If you remember, praise means I have done this in TQM. Praise means first P. P is problem identification. P is problem identification. So what we do is we try to identify. P is standing for problem identification. Identify the problem. What is the problem? Problem means customer is not satisfied. So why the customer is not satisfied? What may be the reason why he will be dissatisfied? Okay. Then second is R. R means ranking. Ranking means what? There may be n number of problems which the customer is not happy with. There may be a lot of issues which need to be rectified. Okay. Now what I will do is I will rank the issues, rank the problems. Which problem is most severe, that has to be solved first. Whichever problem is most severe, that has to be solved first. Third is analysis. I've done this before with you. I'm just revising. Analysis. Analysis means you're trying to identify the cause of the problem. You're trying to find out how did this problem arise? Why did this problem arise? How much damage it has created? How much dissatisfaction it has created? How to rectify that? Okay, analysis. I means what? Innovation. Coming out with ideas, creative thinking, coming out with ideas. Coming out with ideas to improve the system that is existing. Asking how much more we can go to. Asking yourself to what extent I can go. Okay, whatever are the hurdles that we are facing for implementation of the this production system or the TQM principles. How to remove those hurdles. Finding out solutions for that. Removing the barriers, removing the hurdles. Who are the people to be contacted? Who should we be communicating with so that we can solve this problem? So innovation. S is what? Solution. Solution means to implement the solution, to ensure that proper appropriate action is taken, to ensure that workers are properly trained, to ensure that the system is working smoothly. That is solution. And the last one, evaluation. Evaluation of the entire system. So when all these things are done, we say that we are implementing the praise process. Okay. So like this, we are having small concepts in this particular topic, which need to be gone through by you. And it is important from examination point of view. Now, the next thing that I'm going to come to is a very important concept again. And that concept is the concept of cost of quality. Cost of quality. Now, on the face of it, how do I look at cost of quality? On the face of it, I look at cost of quality as normal layman's language when we are talking about what do I mean by cost of quality? So somebody will tell you, sir, cost of quality means that if I want to maintain high quality, then what is the increase in the cost that has to take place? So that means I'm talking about how expensive it will be to maintain that high quality. That means I have to manufacture a product with sophisticated raw materials, the best raw materials, high quality raw materials, expensive raw materials. I will have to incur more expenditure. So there will be quality. That is a layman's concept of cost of quality. When we are talking of cost of quality from a cost accountant's point of view, from a costing point of view, cost of quality, I'm not talking from the point of using expensive items or incurring more expenditure or very high quality materials to improve the quality of the product. But cost of quality means and refers to those expenses and costs which are incurred to prevent, detect, and remove defects from products. So, cost incurred to prevent, detect, and remove defects. This is what we mean by cost of quality. Now, you will understand this better when I explain to you the classification of cost of quality. So, and then we'll come to the conclusion. We'll come to a particular conclusion as to what is cost of quality meaning. Because when we talk about cost of quality in normal layman's term, it means something else. But when we talk about cost of quality from costing point of view, from a cost accountant's point of view, it means something else. Look at this. I say that cost of quality can be divided into two parts. The first part is cost of. Look at the spelling of this cost of conformance. Cost of conformance, not conformance. Conform, not conform. Okay, the word is conform with O, not I. They have got two different meanings. Conform means to assure. Conform means to adhere, to follow. So cost of conformance means cost of following procedures to maintain good quality of product. Following procedures, conformance, following, adhering to. So what is the cost of following the rules and regulations? The cost of following rules and regulations, maybe a little bit of my freedom is restricted, but I'm following the rules and regulations. On the road, it is written speed limit 60 kilometers per hour. So, cost of conformance is that if I'm following that speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour, what is the cost of conformance? That I'm not able to enjoy the speed limit of 120 kmph. You follow? So cost of conformance, that means you have to give up the liberty, you have to give up the freedom of driving recklessly and enjoying, because it is required for safety. Why they write the speed limit? Because it is required for safety. Whose safety? Not the government safety, not the regional transport authority safety, for my safety. So they have written that for my safety. So I have to pay some cost of it. What is the cost that I'm paying? That I am not speeding and I am not reaching the destination, with the intention of reaching fast. Something like 190 kilometers is there for my destination. And if I start driving at the speed of 120 kmph, I'll be reaching in 2 hours. 1.5 to 2 hours. So I can tell the world, hey, I covered this 190 kilometers in 2 hours, 1.5 hours. But cost of conformance, on the highway they write 60 kmph. you'll require 3 hours and some minutes to reach your destination. That means the cost of not driving fast, the cost of adhering to the principles. Followed. Cost of conformance. Now this cost of conformance is divided into two parts. One is called as prevention cost. Prevention cost. The other is called as appraisal cost. Prevention cost and appraisal cost. Now, what is very important here to understand the difference, because in the examination you get a 4 to 6 marks question as to identify, given the cost, identify whether it is a prevention cost, appraisal cost, or cost of non-conformance. Prevention cost. We say no, prevention is better than cure, right? So prevention, that means it is better to prevent a commodity from being defective. Okay, it is better to prevent a commodity from being defective to letting it being defective and then repairing that commodity. What I'm saying is that it is better to prevent a commodity being defective, to be manufactured as a defective, rather than letting the commodity be defective and then conducting repairs on that. So prevention cost. Now, prevention cost and appraisal cost, the objective is same because they are both cost of conformance. But prevention cost is incurred before your actual operation starts, before the actual production starts. That means it is planning before the production process starts. Now, what will you do before the production process starts? You will develop the production system. You will develop the production system. You will find out what is the, or you will plan for the engineering of the entire production process. You will try to find out what is the skill required of the workers and give them proper training before they are put on the job. So providing education, providing training to the workers, providing skill, teaching the workers how to operate before they are actually put on the job, so that they don't manufacture defective items. Okay? Raw materials may be defective in nature. Raw materials may be defective in nature. So, checking the quality of raw materials. And if the supplier is having any problem in, technical problem in giving you the raw materials on time or giving you quality raw materials, then helping the supplier, providing technical support to suppliers. Maybe that you have to provide logistics also to suppliers, because the supplier says that, "Arey, my the transport system is on strike, so I can't deliver the raw materials." So you have to send your trucks and get the raw materials. So technical support, logistical support to be provided to suppliers. All this is prevention cost, which takes place before the production process starts. Before the production process starts. So I told you what all things come here. Development of the production system, development of the engineering and planning, education, training, skill given to workers. Okay, providing technical support to suppliers, providing logistics to suppliers. So all this comes under prevention cost. Clear? Appraisal cost. Appraisal cost. Now, what is the meaning of appraisal cost? I'm not concerned with the meaning as such of appraisal cost, but I'm concerned with what is, how it is different from prevention cost. So appraisal cost is sometimes, in most of the times, it is during the production process. As the production process is going on, appraisal costs are incurred. Appraisal, appraising, checking what? Checking means what? Inspection. So appraisal costs are also called as inspection costs. Appraisal of the product, checking of the product, reviewing the product, reviewing the system, So inspection costs, all the costs which are associated with the activities which are conducted during the process of manufacture. Prevention cost is before the production process. Here I'm saying during the production process. During the production process, whatever costs are incurred before the goods are dispatched to customers. Before goods are dispatched to customers. So that is basically checking activities. So checking activities will involve what? Inspection of the quality of raw materials entering the process. Also inspecting the quality of materials going from one process to another process. Okay. Second, checking or inspection of the quality of the final product. Third, finding out what particular instruments you are making use of in checking the quality of the raw materials and checking the quality of your finished products. What you are making use of for inspection. Sometimes for checking the inspection, you are making use of certain chemicals or certain other items or products which are required for testing the product. For example, food products which are there. Food products like, for example, you get this the sweet drinks which are there. For example, mango juice or orange juice. Now, before it comes in the form of a juice, it is in the form of powder. That powder is tested. It is going for quality control. It goes for checking. So, how much of natural, constituents are there? How much of artificial flavors are added? So that is verified with the help of equipments. Now you have to check those equipments, because if those equipments are faulty, then you get faulty answers. Then you get faulty results. When we imported COVID testing machines from China, what we found, the testing equipments were themselves faulty. Same patient, morning you do the test, it will come negative. Afternoon, the same test is done, it will come positive. Evening, again it will come negative. Same equipment is giving you different answers. That means the testing equipment itself is faulty. So how do you expect that the product is tested in that manner? So testing the equipments which are being used for testing, used for inspection. Maintenance of that equipment. Maintenance of that equipment. Repairs of that equipment. Keeping the equipment clean and without any infection. Because sometimes with the testing, for example, even something like, in the laboratories, they have the weighing scale. And weighing scales, if you go to see, as I told you, another fruit powder that is there, before it comes as a juice, the fruit powder that is there, that is put into a small scale is there. And in that scale, you are weighing the weight of that particular small, it will come as 0.5 grams. But 0.5 grams, now if that increases, even if there is a dust particle in that particular scale, now it will show more. So you have to clean that equipment. You have to ensure that the testing equipment is good. All these things you are doing during the process of inspection, during the process of production. So they are called as appraisal cost. Achha, now there are certain things which cannot be tested in the factory. Okay, so what do? We take that equipment, for example, refrigerator is there. Okay, refrigerator or AC is there. So I will have to ensure that my refrigerator or my AC that I'm manufacturing, when installed at the customer side, is working properly for the customer. That is also my job. That is my appraisal cost. Field testing, it is called as field testing. Testing it on the field, testing it on the site. Field testing of the product at the customer side. That is also appraisal cost. Clear? Okay. Now we have got something called as cost of non-conformance. Cost of non-conformance. What is the meaning of non-conformance? Not following the rules and regulations. Not following the signal, you break the signal and go. Jump the signal and go. RTO will catch you. Policeman is going to catch you, ask you for a fine. Either legal or illegal. Either by that receipt that is going to give you, or under the hand dealing. Either way, you are going to pay the cost. That is cost of non-conformance. Not having the PUC, not having insurance of your vehicle, not following the rules. Cost of non-conformance, fines and penalties paid. So non-conformance is what? Not adhering to. Conformance I told you. Conformance means adhering to. Non-conformance, not adhering to. Not following. The cost of not following all these things, the cost of non-inspection, the cost of non-prevention cost. If you are not going to incur this cost, then what cost you will incur? You will incur the cost of non-conformance. So either you do preventive cost, you incur preventive cost and appraisal cost. If that you are not going to do, then you will have to bear the other part. That is the cost of non-conformance. That means the cost of not following the principles. What is that cost? Again, that cost is divided into two parts. What are the two parts? Internal failure cost. Internal failure cost. And external failure cost. Internal failure cost and external failure cost. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of internal failure cost? And what is the meaning of external failure cost? And what is the difference? Now, it means that this part is not incurred. Which part? Conformance part is not incurred. No inspection is there. No checking of raw materials is there. Okay. Equipment for inspection is also not there. Or they are there but faulty. You are not bothered. So if you don't bother to do all these things, then what will be the result of that? The result of that is that we are going to have defectives. The result is that we are going to have scrap. Correct? Now, if there are defectives and there are scraps, what needs to be done? Either they have to be disposed of, the cost of disposal. The expense incurred for manufacturing the defective product is lost. If you are going to get some scrap value, then the difference between the cost of manufacturing the scrap value is my loss. That is the cost of internal failure. Or you say, no, sir, we will rework this. To rework also incurs what? Expenditure, additional expenditure. Cost of rework, to additional labor cost, additional overhead cost. Correct? If you are going to dispose, disposal cost. Now, because of defective items and because you have to rework those defective items, labor time is lost, time loss. Okay, after the products are reworked, then you have to check the reworked products again. Because once you know it is defective, you have to, after doing the necessary rectification, as we call it, rectification cost, then you have to recheck that particular product if it still has any defect. Correct? So all that is a part of internal failure cost. Internal failure cost. Your accountant, office accountant, has not prepared trial balance properly, has got some fictitious figures and prepared the balance sheet. So balance sheet is giving you fictitious figures of assets and liabilities. Balance sheet they have tallied. Forcibly tallied, like these students do it in the exam. Compulsorily we do some lafda here and there, and then we ensure that balance sheet tallies. So that is wrong, because when it goes for submission to shareholders, to outsiders, to bankers, they will find out that it is a defective balance sheet. Or auditor comes and finds that, you have prepared your auditor tells your management accountant that this is the wrong financial figures. Rework this balance, re-prepare this financial statement. That is internal failure cost. Because that person has to rework again. Time is lost, labor is lost. Internal failure cost. Before the goods reach the customer. Here also before and after is there. Before the goods reach the customer. Before goods reach customer. Before goods reach customer. Correct? External failure cost. External failure cost comes after goods reach customer. After goods reach customer. That means what? You have not incurred appraisal cost, you have not incurred prevention cost, and the goods are defective. You have not checked the defective, whether they are defective also or not, and goods are blindly sent to customers. After the goods are sent to the customers, either customers, they will find that, okay, this company is a hopeless company, next time we will never buy from this company. If it is a small cost item, they will not come back to you also, but they will be dissatisfied and they will take 10 other customers along with them, telling them that, this company is not a good company. When customers come, they come only with one new customer. But when they leave, now they take 10 new customers with them. So they will bring you only one customer, but when they're taking away from you, they will take away 10 customers from you. So they may not come back to you and complain. But they will tell all their friends, if I don't buy from this company sells defective items. This company is a fraud. This company is bogus. They don't buy. So dissatisfied customers. Goodwill of company is damaged. Reputation of company is damaged. As a result, the revenue of the company is damaged because the sales revenue comes down. Because when the customers are dissatisfied, it spoils the reputation, it spoils the goodwill. Definitely, it will amount to reduction in sales, to reduction in revenue. So what is the cost involved? I may have to go there to the customer's place and repair the items for them. Okay, so there may be something called as warranty repairs or warranty replacement. Where customer is not paying you additional item because it's coming under the warranty period. So you have to replace. Cost for me. I have to replace. So additional cost. If my product is found to be defective, pharma products, pharmaceutical products, medicines, if my product is found to be defective and it has caused harm or damage to my customer, loss of life, or there is a harm to the life of the patient who has consumed my medicines, there will be a criminal liability. There will be criminal liability. And you have to, if the customer takes you to consumer court, you'll have to pay crores of rupees as compensation. It's a human life. So legal liabilities arising from sale of defective products. Correct? So all these things are called as external failure cost. It is called as external failure cost. So in the case of a company, when we are talking about cost of quality, what do I summarize now? I'm going to summarize. Cost of quality is not the price of creating a quality product, but it is the price of not creating a quality product. Cost of quality is not the cost or not the price of creating a quality product, but actually it is the cost of not creating a quality product. You understand what I'm saying? This is what you have to know. This is what you have to know. So strategic cost management is something about strategizing. Always remember this. We are doing strategic cost management. No topic is going to be as simple as on the face of it. This value. That means as you look at the topic, you feel that the topic is very simple. No, it has got an in-depth meaning. It has got an in-depth cost concept. That concept is important. So when you are talking loosely with your friend, cost of quality, that has got a different meaning. So here I'm saying that cost of quality does not mean the cost of creating a quality product, but I'm saying that it is the cost of not creating a quality product. Okay, so that is what is important here. That is the crux of the concept. Clear? So what we have done is, we have done today the concept of Deming's TQM wheel, plan, do, check, act, PDCA. Okay, we have done again revised the concept of praise. We have revised the concept of praise. I have also told you the persons and the companies which have won the Deming's Grand Prize. We are concerned with India. So in your answer, if you write all these things now, any question comes on Deming's TQM, write this. It will impress the examiner. So many times what happens, as last time somebody was saying, when I said that, sometimes you can impress the examiner with your handwriting. Yes, especially when it is a theory paper, especially when you write conceptual theoretical questions, answers in the examination, you can impress examiners with your handwriting. So like that, you should know how to create a favorable atmosphere for the examiner who's correcting your papers. Give him something which is different from the normal routine things that students always write. You write definition, you write this, you write that, you write. But examiner reads the same definition 10 in 10 papers, 100 papers. Don't you think that he'll go crazy? He wants to see something new. Give him something new. He will be impressed. You know what we used to do, what I used to do in my audit paper. Audit paper was full 100 marks theory paper. So because of my handwriting, what I used to do was, I used to answer the best questions first. Best questions in the sense the answer of which I knew thoroughly. 6 questions we had to attempt. So out of that, maybe that I know only 4 questions very good. And 2 questions so-so. Okay. So what I used to do, those 4 questions which I know thoroughly now, I'll write it in the beginning of my paper in such beautiful handwriting that examiner is like melting like butter when he sees my handwriting. And he's so impressed that he does not read also properly, he just checks that points are there and gives the marks. Towards the end of the paper, 2 questions have to answer, 4 questions are answered thoroughly. End of the paper, the last 2 questions which I don't know, which I'm not sure, which I have not prepared for, something like that, I write. But I write in such horrible, handwriting that I also don't understand what I wrote. But I will ensure that in my answer, some words like audit is there, audit standard is there. So, the examiner feels, sorry, towards the end of the exam, he did not have time, so he wrote fast, and therefore handwriting has gone bad. But I can see some words, audit standard, he is writing something, so he gives me marks. Even if I write nonsense, he will give me marks. Why? Because he's already impressed with my handwriting. He's already impressed that I know the subject. I've written 4 answers beautifully for him. I've impressed him. And when I write the answers, I will write wherever possible, I will give it in a tabular form. I will draw charts. Like for example, in this particular case, if I have to write cost of quality, I will write cost of quality. I will first draw the entire chart, cost of conformance, I will draw the full thing in the tabular form in the chart form. And then I will sit down to explain one part. So even if I don't explain something here and there, if I just bluff him also, then he's not going to check each and every word of mine. He doesn't have the time. He just glances through your paper, important words are there, important things are there, he will put a tick mark. Have you seen corrected papers? Big tick marks are there. So impressing the examiner. So what I will do, anything about Deming's, or even if TQM comes, I will write over there. Even if Deming is not coming in my answer, I will write. Deming is considered as father of quality management. What is there? There is no harm. Then I will write that Deming's those who implement those who implement the TQM principles are given the Deming's Grand Prize. And in India, first Indian was so and so person, first Indian company was so and so company. As recently as 2019, JSW Salem branch has got the Deming's grand prize. Write it. It creates an impression. Examiner feels, okay, he has done the subject. He knows the subject. Impressing the examiner, especially in the theoretical concepts, theoretical papers, audit, law, all these things, very important. So you have to do something which creates an impression in the mind of the examiner that yes, the student has knowledge of the subject. That is what they want. Do you think that we read all the answers? No. We just have a glance of it. And when in the glance, when we are glancing through, I say, okay, he has written Sundaram Clapton, first Indian company. Okay, great person. Even I did not know that. Sometimes examiner feels the same thing. Even I did not know this. Now he has written this. So in a theoretical conceptual question, ensure that you are trying to impress the examiner. And that is what you can do by giving examples, by putting all these things, making your answer interesting. Okay. So now what we will do is, we will go to the questions part of this. We will go to the questions part of this and see what are the different types of questions that we can get on cost of quality. Okay. Let us come to page 154. Page 154. Okay. Now, page 154, we have question number 1. Let us take that question. We can just write the answers of that because it is just an oral question sort of thing. But it comes in the examination for 4 to 6 months if it comes. Classify the following items under appropriate categories of quality cost, that is prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost, and external failure cost. So you have to tell me. So you can switch on your mics now and tell me one by one what is the answer to each one of them. First one, unplanned replacement to customers. What will it be? Unplanned replacement to customers. Will it be a prevention cost?
Cost
of non-conformance.
Cost of non-conformance, external failure cost.
Absolutely. So this will be external failure cost. So we can just write in the answer external failure cost. Okay, here is the second one. Correction of bank statement. Correction of bank statement. Prevention, appraisal, internal failure, external failure.
Appraisal, sir.
Appraisal. It is not appraisal. Correction of bank statement, internal failure cost. Internal failure cost. Okay, design review. Design review.
Prevention cost, cost of conformance.
Yes, absolutely right. Prevention cost. Equipment accuracy check. Equipment accuracy check.
Appraisal cost.
Absolutely right.
Appraisal cost.
Yes, appraisal cost. Next one, staff training.
Prevention cost.
Prevention cost. Before the production starts, the prevention cost, correct. Next, reprocessing of a loan operation.
Appraisal cost.
Think.
Internal failure cost.
Reprocessing of loan operation. That means you have taken a loan, then you find that you have taken a loan at a very high rate of interest. Somebody is offering you the same amount of loan at a lower rate of interest. So now you are doing reprocessing of the loan operation. So it is a Internal
Ex-
failure cost. Internal failure
Internal
cost.
failure cost, sir.
Yes, internal failure.
Internal.
Product liability warrant.
external failure cost,
Absolutely. External failure cost. Product acceptance.
appraisal cost,
Yes, appraisal cost. Wastage of material.
internal failure,
Wastage of material. Internal failure cost. Yes. Internal failure cost. Last one. Planned maintenance of equipment.
prevention cost,
Prevention cost. Correct. Okay. So this type of question carries about 4 to 6 marks in the examination. Comes a small question. Let us see next question. Question number 2. I'll just come. 2 minutes. Just a minute, 2 minutes. Okay, let us start. Question 2. BBL, formerly known as Belco, is an Indian multinational company. Its headquarters are located at Delhi. It is founded in the year 1991 as a manufacturer of locomotives. The company is presently listed locally as well as in the international stock market. BBL's parent company is the Bharat Group. The management of BBL recognizes the need to establish a culture at the company so that do the right things right the first time, every time. That is the slogan of the company. What is it saying? Do the right things. Always do everything perfect. Right the first time, every time. That means from the beginning, you should not make a mistake at all. From the beginning, it should be correct and it should be correct every time. Management has provided you the factual information for the month of November for the current data. Cost data is given to you. Customer support center cost 35 rupees per hour. Equipment testing cost is 18 rupees per hour. Warranty repair cost is 1,560 per hour per bike. Manufacturing reworking cost is 228 per bike. Volume and activity data is given to you. Bikes requiring manufacturing rework is 3,200. Bikes requiring warranty repair is 2,600 bikes. Production line equipment testing time is 1,600 hours. Customer support time is 2,000 hours. Additional information given. BBL carried out a quality review of its existing suppliers to enhance quality levels during the month at a cost of 1,25,000. So this 1,25,000 is a part of your cost. Due to quality issues in the month. So what is this 1,25,000? It is supplier review cost. Quality review of existing suppliers. So it is supplier review cost. Due to quality issues in the month, the bike production line experienced unproductive downtime. That means downtime means that you are incurring more time, which cost 7,70,000. So that is a downtime cost. We call it as downtime cost. Okay. Prepare a statement showing total quality cost. In other words, when this type of question comes, we have to prepare a statement whereby we classify. So it is 2-in-1 question. 2-in-1 why? Because in this question we have to classify also under the 4 heads, starting with preventive cost, then appraisal cost, then internal failure cost, and then external failure cost. We have to go in that order. And we have to do proper classification. So classification also comes, and preparation of total cost. That also comes. So it is a 2-in-1 question. So preparing a statement showing total quality cost. Let us see how to prepare. Question number 2. Prepare a statement like this. And at the top you write statement showing total quality cost. Total quality cost. Particulars in amount column. Okay. Ready? Now let us start with first one, prevention cost. Capital letters. Right, prevention cost. Now look at all the costs which are given and tell me if you find anything which can be categorized as prevention cost. What all things are given? Customer support, equipment testing, warranty repair, manufacturing rework, then downtime cost, then supply review cost. All these things are given. So can you
Equipment
classify
testing
any of
cost.
these things? Yes.
Equipment testing cost.
Equipment
Under
testing cost will be a prevention cost? I don't think so.
There was an appraisal cost.
Cost is not a prevention cost.
In this
Go through all
problem,
the
no, none of them is the prevention cost, sir, I think so.
Customer support, equipment testing, warranty repair, manufacturing rework, supply review, and downtime cost. Which of these can be classified as a prevention cost?
None of them, sir.
Supply review cost.
Supply review cost, sir.
Yes, supply review cost. 1,25,000. Supplier review cost. 1,25,000. Anything else that can be classified as prevention cost? No? Okay, there is only one item. Next one, appraisal cost. Appraisal cost. See, which of the items can be classified as appraisal cost?
Equipment testing cost.
Equipment testing. Oh, that was a question or an answer?
Ah, that was the answer, sir.
Customer support center cost, sir.
That is also appraisal. Customer support cost. Are you sure it is an appraisal cost?
Because it is in the production process, sir.
No, customer support cost comes when? After the goods are sold. Can it be an appraisal cost?
No, no, sir.
No.
Was an extra failure cost.
Production line equipment testing time. Okay, that's fine.
Equipment testing cost 18 rupees per hour into testing time. What is the testing time? 1,600 hours. $28,800. Customer support is not appraisal cost. Anything else that will come under appraisal cost? Next heading, right? Internal failure cost. Internal failure cost.
Manufacturing rework cost.
Rework cost, sir.
Manufacturing.
Rework cost.
Rework cost.
Okay. Manufacturing rework cost. Tell me the calculations. 228 per bike. And the rework you have to do on 3,200 bikes.
Seven lakh 29,600, sir.
Correct.
600.
7,29,600. Anything else? Internal failure?
Downtime
Yes, sir.
cost 7,70,000.
Correct. Downtime cost. Downtime cost 7,70,000. Anything else? Last one. Last one is very simple. Whatever is not there in the earlier three will come in the last one. External failure cost. Customer support time. Customer support cost. ₹35 into 2,000 hours. ₹70,000. Warranty repair cost. Warranty repair cost. $1,560 into 2,600 bikes.
40,56,000.
Yes. 40,56,000. Sure. Take the total of this.
$57,79,400.
Correct. 57,79,400. Perfect. So in this particular question, we are having classification also and calculation of total cost of quality also. Let us see now question number 3.
Sir, is that total correct, sir?
Yes. Any questions?
I have 57,78,800.
57 lakh.
Okay, maybe.
Because 8 and 6 is 14. 9 and 5, 14, 23, 29. It's correct. 57, 79, 400. Maybe you have not written some figure properly. 7,29,600. Have you written correctly 600?
Yeah, I'm checking, sir.
8 and 6, 14, 4 carry 1, 5 and 6 and 8, 14, 23, 29, 2 and 2, 4 and 2, 6 and 2, 8 and 7, 15, 20, 27, 2 and 7, 9, 7, 16, 17. It's correct here. Before you calculate on your calculator, I have done orally here.
Yes, sir, you have done correct answer.
Okay. Let us come to question number 3. The actual quality cost of Astro Limited for the years ended 31st March 2019 and 31st March 2020 are provided as follows. Here they have already given you the classification. Prevention cost, quality training, reliability engineering, they have given you for 2019 and 20. Appraisal cost, they have given material inspection and process acceptance. Then they have given you internal failure cost made up of scrap and rework, and external failure cost made up of customer complaints and warranty. At the end of 2019, management decided to increase its investment in control cost by 25% for categories items, with the expectations that failure cost would decrease by 20% for each item in the failure categories. Now see what they are saying. Let us try to understand what they are saying. They are saying that management has decided to increase investment in control cost by 25%. Another way of classifying the cost, one way of classification is cost of conformance and cost of non-conformance. If you look at it the other way around, cost of conformance means that if I want to ensure quality, meaning control cost. And if I don't maintain the quality, that means that is going to be the failure cost. Okay. So what they are saying is that they want to invest more in control cost. That means they want to spend more in the conformance cost, that is invest the appraisal cost and the prevention cost by 25%, so that there will be decrease in failure cost, means there will be a decrease in the internal and external failure cost by 20%. Okay. Sales were rupees 80 lakhs for both 2019 and 2020. First, required, calculate the budgeted cost for 2020 and prepare an interim quality performance report. Second, comment on the significance of the report. How much progress has Astro Limited made? And third, what if sales were 80 lakhs for 2019 and 1 crore for 2020? Okay. What adjustment to budgeted scrap cost must be made? Budgeted quality training must be made. Assuming the actual for 2020 do not change, what does the adjustment say about Astra Limited's performance? So my first job is to prepare a statement which will be called as interim quality performance. Okay. So let us see how to prepare that statement. Interim quality performance report. Particulars in 4 columns. Actual for 2019, budgeted for 2020, actual for 2020, and variance. Variance will be adverse or favorable. Today again thunderstorm has started. The monsoon session of the day. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Let us start with. Now we have to be very careful with these calculations. First, I will go in the same order that they have given to me. I start with the prevention cost. It is normally we start with prevention cost. So we'll start with prevention cost, capital letters. Quality training. They have given to me the actual figures. What I will do is, I will first write actual of 2019 only. That is 64,000. And the actual of 2020, that is 80,000. Don't calculate the budgeted figures as of now. Second, reliability engineering. 1,28,000 and 1,60,000. Now, what they have said is, they have said that the control cost, that is prevention and appraisal cost, they are going to increase by 25%. Budgeted, budgeted, not actual. So my actual for 2019 is 64,000. So this 64,000 increases by 25%. So how much will be the budgeted for 2020? 64,000 plus 25% is 80,000.
Yes, sir.
Budgeted is 80, actual is 80. Is there any variance? No. Same way. 1,28,000 plus 25%.
3,000.
1,60,000. Again, no variance. Take this total. This will call as subtotal A. 1,92,000, 2,40,000, 2,40,000. This is prevention cost. Now I go for appraisal cost. Material inspection. Now you know how to do. So material inspection for 2019, it is 66,400. Budgeted will be 25% more. So 66,400 plus 25% will be 83,000. Actual for 2020 is 84,000. Actual is more than budgeted, so it is 1,000 adverse. 1,000 adverse. Process acceptance. Process acceptance. 76,000 for 2019. 76,000 plus 25% is 95,000.
95,000.
Yes. Actual is 96,000. So again it is 1,000 adverse. Write A in bracket for adverse. Take total of this.
1,42,400.
Yes. Then 1,78,000.
1,98,000.
1,80,000.
1,80,000.
2,000.
2,000 adverse. Internal failure cost. Internal failure cost. Scrap is there. 55,000. Scrap is 55,000. 55,000. Will you increase this by 25%?
So we will decrease by 20%.
Yes. This you are going to decrease because it is your failure cost. Minus 20%.
41,250.
44,000.
41,250.
Check.
44,000, sir.
55,000 minus 20%, not 25, minus 20%.
44.
Okay, okay.
Okay, 44,000. What is the actual figure?
50,000.
50,000. So 6,000
6,000
advance.
advance.
Yes. Reworking cost. One lakh 20,625
96,500.
minus 20%. 96,500. Actual is 1 lakh.
3,500 advance.
Correct. 3,500 adverse. Now remove the total of all this.
1,75,625.
1,40,500.
Yes. 1 lakh 9,500 adverse. Now let us come to external failure cost. Customer complaints. $81,250.
65,000.
Minus 20%. 65,000.
65.
Actual is also 65. So no variance. Warranty is 184,375. $184,375 minus 20%. 147,500.
1,46,500.
Yes. Actual 165.
17,500 adverse.
$17,500 adverse. Take the total of this.
2,65,625.
This your subtotal B, this your subtotal C, and this becomes your subtotal D. 265,625.
2,12,500.
2,12,500.
2,12,500.
2,30,000.
2,30,000.
2,30,000. And 17,500 adverse. Okay. Now what you do is take total quality cost. A plus B plus C plus D. Total quality cost. A plus B plus C plus D.
3,650.
7,75,650.
One lakh
Like 7,000.
51,000.
650.
From where you are getting 650? Which you are calculating? Budgeted of 2020. Correct, no? 7,71,000.
8 lakhs.
8 lakhs. $29,000 adverse. Now what you will do is calculate the total quality cost as percentage of sales. Calculate total quality cost as percentage of sales. So 7,71,000 divided by 80 lakhs because that is the sales. 7,71,000 divided by 80 lakhs percentage.
96.375.
Array percentage here.
9.6%.
9.64%. Eight lakhs divided by 80 lakhs. I don't think you require a calculator for this. Those who are using calculators,
10%.
pinch yourself. So variance is 0.36. Okay. Now, if you go to see, we have done the first part of the question. Calculate the budgeted cost with the interim quality performance report. Done. Second part of the question is comment on the significance of the report and how much progress has the company made. What will I write under significance here? What do you mean by significance and how much progress the company has made? You know what they are asking? What the intention is? The intention is that they are asking you if they have increased the investment in the control cost, that is the prevention cost and the appraisal cost. They have increased the investment, they have increased the spending by 25% with the intention, with the objective of reducing the failure cost by 20%. So they are asking you, have they made the progress? How much progress has company made? Are they successful? In other words, they are asking you, are they successful? Answer is yes. In most of the cases, if you see here, when I compare the figures, let us compare the figures. What has happened? Internal failure cost, more or less, it is 1,40,500, it is 1,50,000. But if you go to see the prevention cost and the appraisal cost, 2,40,000, 2,40,000, it is same. 178, 180. Hardly any difference. Hardly any difference of 2,000. So when it comes to internal failure cost, what has happened? It has reduced. We have budgeted for 1,40,500, it is 1,50,000. Okay. And over here it is, we have budgeted for 2,12,500. It is coming to 2,30,000. That means we have been able to control the expenses. We have been able to control the failure cost. And as far as the control costs are concerned, the control costs are more or less the same. They are more or less the same. So that means company has been able to achieve. What is this budgeted figures here? 2,12,500 and this 1,40,500. Budgeted figures are that we after reduction of 20%. After reduction of 20%. So that means there is a decline. If you compare 1,75,625 here with 1,50,000, there is a reduction. There is a reduction. If you compare this figure, 2,65,625 to 2,30,000, there is a reduction from last year to current year. So that means the plan of reducing the failure cost by increasing the control cost has been successful. Has been successful. Okay. So write down significance. Significance. Write down the answer. The budgeted figures are very close to the actual figures. Are very close to the actual figures. of 2020. Of 2020. Thus, the management's decision to increase the investment in control costs, to increase the investment in control cost by 25%, to bring about a reduction in the failure cost by 20%, has been successful. Okay. So this is what you will write for significance. Now, what is the third part of the question? I want you to tell me third part of the question. Answer for that. They are saying if the sales for 2019 is 80 lakhs, but sales for 2020 is 1 crore. Now, in this statement that we have prepared now, we have taken sales for both the years as 80 lakhs. Now they are saying if sales for 2020 is 1 crore, what adjustment to budgeted scrap cost and budgeted quality training must be made? Budgeted scrap cost is this figure, and budgeted quality training is this figure. So for these two costs, what should happen? What will happen? What should happen? And assuming that actual for 2020 do not change, that means this part is not going to change. This column is not going to change. What does the adjustment say about Astra Limited's performance? Tell me. And I want each student to answer now. Not that one student will answer for all. I want each student to answer. So let us start with Satish. What will be your answer? Yes, Satish. Okay, let us see, RK. What is your answer?
I don't know, sir.
Yeah, I'm having great expectations of.
I can reach your standards, sir, at the end of our classes.
Yes, Sabha.
Sir, 80,000 quality training, 80,000 is for 80 lakh units, no, sir. So we have to divide and we'll get per unit, then we have to multiply with 1 crore so that we will get.
So what changes will happen? No, you have to observe the statement. Observe the statement that you have prepared. Observe all the figures that you have prepared, and especially now you have to concentrate on two items. I told you the two items. One is the budgeted scrap cost and the other is budgeted quality training. Now, let me see if we can do some analysis of this. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the statement. If I look at all these figures now that I have prepared, if I look at quality training, reliability engineering, I find that there is an increase. Now, first of all, I want to define the concept of variable cost and fixed cost. Because I do not know whether you are on the same page with me as far as the definitions are concerned. Fixed cost is that cost which does not change with the level of production. Whereas variable cost is that cost which changes with the level of production. But it does not mean that fixed cost will remain fixed forever. So we have another term for a fixed cost. You know what is another term for a fixed cost? Give me another term for fixed cost. Let us see how good cost accountants we are. Yes, RK. What is another term for a fixed cost? Now, this you can't say, I don't know, sir. Because you have cleared your inter and come to final.
Constant, sir.
What is another term for a fixed cost?
Constant, sir.
No. Okay, what is another term for a variable cost? Non-constant.
Overhead
Marginal cost.
fixed cost rather than
Yes, Sabha?
fixed cost rather than is overhead cost, sir.
Fixed cost is overhead cost? No. Because overhead
For
cost is classified into fixed and
variable,
variable cost.
variable cost, the other term would be marginal cost.
No. What is a term for a fixed cost? You tell me that first. What is another term for a fixed cost? I just now gave you the hint.
Indirect cost.
No. Fixed cost is also called as period cost because it remains fixed for a particular period of time. Fixed cost is not fixed forever. For example, rent of premises. It is fixed for a particular year, but it is not fixed for all the years. So every year the rent will change, but it will remain fixed for the year. Whereas variable cost like material cost, it will change month to month also. Sometimes it may change from one purchase to another purchase also in the same month. So variable cost is called as product cost and fixed cost is called as period cost. Now, if I look at the particular figures given to me, quality training specially and scrap, which of the two can you say is fixed and the other is variable? Look at the
Quality
statement.
training is fixed and scrap is variable.
Correct. Quality training cost will be a fixed cost and scrap will be a variable cost. So what is a big deal? Now, if let us come to scrap first, it is a variable cost. Scrap variable cost means it changes with the level of production. At the same time, the cost also may change. For example, material cost is a variable cost. So if I say now the cost is 10 rupees per unit and I'm producing 100 units, 10 into 100 will give me 1000 rupees. Correct? Now, next time I'm producing 200 units. So it will be 10 into 200, it will be 2000 rupees. But at the same time, if the material cost per unit also increases from 10 rupees to 11 rupees, so it will be 11 into 200, that is 2200. So from 1000, it has gone up to 2200 for two reasons. From 1000, it has gone up to 2200 for two reasons. Number one, number of units produced has doubled from 1000 to 2000. And number two, the price of material has increased from 10 rupees to 11 rupees. Correct? So variable cost will increase with the number of units. So if sales in 2019 was 80 lakhs and sales in 2020 is 1 crore, 80 lakhs to 1 crore, the increase is by 20 lakhs. That is, the increase is by 25%. The increase is by 25%. So there is a decrease in the scrap cost from 55,000 to 44,000. See here, look at this. From 55,000 to 44,000. There is a decrease in the cost. But if this is going to increase by 25% because of change in sales, what will happen? It will become 44,000, okay, 44,000 plus 25%. So this should have been
55,000.
correct, 55,000. This should have been 55,000. And if that happens, then I will get this as a favorable variance because actual is 50, budgeted is 55, so there will be 5,000 favorable variance. That is what would have happened. And I conclude from this that if it can happen to scrap cost, then every variable cost also will result in favorable variance. Every variable cost will result in a favorable variance. That is my conclusion. And what will happen to the fixed cost? Quality training is a fixed cost. What will happen to fixed cost? It will remain the same. There will be no change. Because fixed cost does not change with the level of production. It changes with time, not with level of production. So therefore, the quality training cost will remain the same. It will not change. However, the scrap cost and all other variable costs will therefore result in a favorable variance for 2020. Okay, so let us write the answer for this now. Third part. Third part will write comment on company's performance. Comment on company's performance. That is the third part. Right now, if the sales in 2020, is rupees 1 crore, then it means that sales has increased by 25%. It means that sales has increased by 25%. Thus, units produced and sold are likely to increase in 2020. As compared to 2019. Therefore, budgeted scrap cost will also increase. And there will be a favorable scrap variance. Acha, now we will show the variance now. That is 44,000, show the working like this, plus 25% in bracket, minus the actual cost of 50,000. So this will come to 55,000 minus 50,000. That is equal to 5,000 favorable variance. Next line you write. Similarly, all budgeted variable costs would increase and it would be more favorable than the earlier calculations. It would be more favorable than the earlier calculations. Full stop. However, quality training is more of a fixed cost. Quality training is more of a fixed cost, and therefore it will not change. Okay. So with that, one more chapter comes to an end, that is TQM and cost of quality. Keep a track of all the topics that are completed. JIT is completed in the last lecture, and today we have completed TQM and cost of quality also. Next lecture I will be starting, that is tomorrow from 4 to 6. I may extend the lecture beyond 6 o'clock. So in the next lecture, I will be doing a very important topic, that is activity-based costing, ABC. Okay, so don't miss the lecture. Till then, have a nice day. Keep safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.